I love life.
Likewise.
It could be so different. Hi, Tip. How are you? Thank you for tuning in.
Are you live?
I am live. I am back, and I am here with the dynamic Mr. Malik Wade. Welcome, Malik.
Thank you for having me. Sister.
Thank you for coming in, Malik. You have such an amazing testimony. Tell the people first and foremost, who are you and where do you hail from?
My name is Malik Wade, and I'm born and raised in San Francisco, California.
San Francisco in the building.
Yeah, growing up, I grew up, unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but like a lot of young black men in the 80s at the height of the crack cocaine epidemic. That swept through every inner city, whether it be Atlanta, Raleigh, North Carolina, South Side of Chicago, etc.
Just inner city issues.
And at the age of 15, I started selling crack cocaine.
So you were still in high school? Did you stop going to high school?
No, I went to school every day, graduated on stage.
What? While running this organization?
Well,
while selling?
It was just me at the time.
Okay, at the time.
And then...
so you graduated as a drug dealer?
Basically. And then by the time I had graduated, I was being investigated by the feds already.
Who were your clients? Who did you sell to at 15?
Well, when I was 15 years old, I started off, kind of relatively small like everybody else. So I was basically selling crack to, people in my neighborhood, people in the community. And then as the years went on, 16, 17, 18, I started to slowly and gradually make more and more money. To where I got to a point where we considered, I guess some people would consider me a big drug dealer by the time I was 18, 19 years old.
Wow. So by 18, you had graduated high school? You graduated on time?
Yeah, graduated on time.
Nothing interfered. Like, for me, mathematical-wise, it takes a lot to run a business. Hey, Lily. Yes, he is awesome. It takes a lot to run a business. And to be able to successfully do that while managing high school.
Yeah, and then I was a real good athlete too. I played on my high school basketball team.
Wow.
And full time, we won a state championship. While I was doing everything I was doing, I was a participant on that team that won a state championship.
Wow, state champion, drug dealer, high school graduate. Yeah. Amazing. That right there is a feat in and of itself. So by the time you're 18, you were already being investigated?
Yeah, by the time I was 18, I was already being investigated by the feds. And then by the time I was 19, I pretty much started selling drugs in different states, nationwide, New York, Washington, D.C., and a couple of other places, Nevada.
Wow. So how did you get from San Francisco? Like, how does this go? And I ask you this because I have so many people trying to do things even the legal way and branching out and going through and doing this and doing that. Hey, baby girl, it's difficult. So you were able to take this small business because it was a business at this point. This is the only job you had, correct?
Right.
Okay, so how were you able, with word of mouth, what did you do to take this thing totally to another level?
To be honest, it kind of happened organically. It was sort of like when I was 19, I started going to major heavyweight fights.
Okay.
I would go see like Mike Tyson and Vander Holyfield, stuff like that. And then I would meet these cats from different cities. Like I would meet guys from Washington, D.C. I would meet dudes from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania, from New York. And then I hooked up with those guys from meeting them at the fight. And then eventually I wound up going to those cities.
Wow, amazing. That's just, oh my God, that just blows my mind. So at this point, where are the feds when you're
following me?
Oh wow, oh my goodness.
I mean, of course, I didn't know.
You didn't know they were following, right?
You're a little arrogant. You start having some money, and you're flying all over the country, and you're making a lot of money, and you're going to the fights, and you're eating in nice places, and you're buying Rolex watches, and you're arrogant. You think that you above the feds.
Right. They can't catch you.
And then, a couple of years later, I wound up getting indicted. I wound up getting formally indicted by the feds, and they were seeking a life sentence. They were seeking a life sentence in federal prison. So I wound
for the conspiracy?
Yes, for conspiracy. It is the statute is 846, conspiracy to distribute cocaine. So They indicted me. They were seeking a life sentence, so I wound up leaving the United States.
Wait a minute. So, wait a minute, you can't just throw that out there, Malik. Like, so you just left. Yeah. Like, someone called you and said they indicted you.
Well, my lawyer.
Okay.
My lawyer. His name is Tony Tamborello. He's from San Francisco.
Tony Tamborello. So he just called you and was like, oh, they indicted you. You looking at life.
Basically. I mean, he told me to fly in. He asked me, you know, how did I feel? Was I comfortable? Because I was out of town. And he asked me, did I feel comfortable? I was living in LA at the time. And he told me, did I feel comfortable about flying in? So he could read the charges to me and let me see the actual indictment. So I flew in and went to his office and he read the charges to me. And, you know, they were seeking a life sentence plus 5 years, which is, you know, sounds crazy.
Ridiculous. What do you mean life plus 5 years? Who does that? So he flies you into San Francisco to tell you you're indicted.
Right.
And what do you do?
He flew me in, he read the indictment to me. He didn't want to give me a copy of it because he didn't want me having it in my possession for whatever reason. So he read the indictment to me and told me, you know, how much time I was facing. And within a few hours, I was on a plane attempting to leave the country, on my way to leave the country. I left probably right after that. I went to see my mother. She worked downtown. I told her, you know, what the situation was and that she might not see me for a long time.
Wow. So you just told your mom, I've been indicted, I'm out.
Basically.
Wow. So what's running through your mind at this point? Like, you all you know is America.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was crazy. You know, I was young at the time. I was 21. I had just turned 22, like a few weeks before that. So I was, you know, I'm young. I got a lot of stuff going through my mind, but you know, the only thing in my mind was that I'm not trying to do a life sentence.
Right. That definitely comes to the top. Life.
Yeah.
And then they want to say plus 5 years.
Yeah, for an enhancement for a gun.
So okay, so just for my listeners that don't understand this whole concept, the indictment came without you being present. You
Exactly.
you never answered any questions.
No.
So these were all informants or videos that they had taken.
And I don't distance myself and misrepresent the fact that I did actually sell drugs. I'm not in denial about that. I did actually sell drugs in those places that they said I sold drugs in, whether it be Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Louisville, Kentucky, D.C., etc. But, you know, I was never caught with any drugs. I was never...
so even though it was never found in your possession?
No, never. But that's how the feds work. They don't have to have physical drugs or catch you with drugs to indict you.
Especially on conspiracy.
Especially on conspiracy.
But y'all understand. Look that word up. Understand it. Okay, so what do we do from there once you talk to mommy? Because you know nothing is real until you tell your mama.
Yeah, so I went.
Nothing is real.
Yeah, I went and talked to her and told her I had to leave, and she didn't really understand the seriousness of it either, and, nor did I really. But I knew I was about to be on a plane, so within a few hours I was on a plane, left, flew to another state, Seattle, Washington, stayed up there and tied up some loose ends I had there. Took me about maybe a month and a half, 2 months, and then from there I left the country.
Where did you go?
I wound up going to Canada. I went to a city called Vancouver, Canada. Stayed there for a couple of years, and then I started moving around Canada to different cities like Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg.
So how hard is that? Like being on the run? I mean, are you constantly in a state of confusion and that sounds like stress.
So.
That just sounds like stress to me.
Yeah,
that just seems like a lot of stress.
I mean, you know, it's a paranoid life. You know, you're paranoid. You think everybody's a police, especially, you know, in your mind you think all white folks. You think all white folks.
So I don't know why they think we don't have any black feds. But, in your mind, you're just looking at every white.
I mean, but
and you can't do that in Canada. There's a lot of them.
The Canada is less than 1% black.
Right. So how are you? So you just living in a constant, hey Tanika, hey Seven.
Yeah.
So you just looking in a constant state of stress.
Paranoia, you know, being stressed out, you know, wondering if I'm ever going to see my family again, my mother again, my woman again. You know, didn't have kids at the time. I was young, like all this. Had just turned 22 years old.
Wow, 22 years old, looking at life.
Yeah.
It's a blessing that you're sitting here with me. So okay, so give me. Now I'm stressed out. Now I want to hear the testimony. What happened?
So I wound up staying on the run, living in exile. I wound up living on the run for 7 years.
7.
Yeah, 7 years officially. I was indicted in April of 1993, and I got arrested April of 2000.
So did you just come back?
No, I didn't come back.
They caught up with you.
Well, the feds in the country that I was in, they had turned up the heat, and they had got wind that I wasn't who I said I was. So they wound up forcing me out of that country. And then when I came back to the United States, and I wound up eventually getting arrested in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 7 years later. My charges were actually in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So once I got arrested in Minnesota, they extradited me back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And the whole time your mom is in California.
Right.
Wow.
And my first day in court, I pled guilty to 15 years in federal prison.
So you just said, okay, let's figure out what we can do. So you just came over. I'm not finna deal with all that.
I mean, I already know I'm looking at a life sentence, so I just pled guilty to 15 years in federal prison. Went to prison, of course, completely reshifted my paradigm.
Yes, come on, reshift that paradigm.
Started to,
I like it.
Educated myself to the best of my ability. Prison, they're not going to rehabilitate you. You got to rehabilitate yourself. So went to prison, read hundreds of books, took every education course that they had, every business class that they had.
Yes.
Got out of prison 5 years ago, and got out of prison, went straight back to my community, started speaking in schools, started speaking in juvenile halls, high schools, universities, colleges.
That's powerful. So how do the young people perceive you? I mean, because that testimony is almost... It's earth-shattering. You're talking 22 years old, looking at a life sentence.
How do young people perceive me now?
Well, how are you received by the younger generation?
Well, they can relate, obviously, to the story because they've had family members, fathers, uncles, cousins who had similar situations. So when I go in a lot of these juvenile halls and high schools, they relate to me. So they like the story. And but a lot of times they look at me as some sort of mythic, folklore or some sort of legend, which I have to tell them, like, hey man, that's not what time it is.
We're not glorifying this process.
Definitely.
They took 50. You gave up 15 years of your life.
Can't glorify that. So now, that's what I do. I've dedicated my life to going back in my community. I started a nonprofit organization.
All right, nonprofit.
I got 15 young brothers that I mentor. The last 2 years, I took them on an all expenses paid college tour. And in April, I was able to chaperone 14 young folks to Accra, Ghana.
In Africa.
Yeah, we went to Africa last year. And so that's what I'm doing.
And that's powerful. I mean, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Because you turn that thing around. So it's not always about what happens or what you go through. It's where you end up.
I agree with you.
And I mean, sometimes we don't even know why, because you were a good student. Sometimes we think it's the ones that are doing the worst, that we think the worst is going to come out, and you really just never know. But I want to commend you on all that you're doing to change someone else's life and keep them on a different path. So tell me about this book, Pressure. Guys, Pressure. Oh my God. Everybody in the studio today is trying to read and talk to this man. Tell me about the book. Where did that come about?
The book, I wrote the book probably, a couple years ago. It took about a year for me to write it, and then another year for me to get it out, because I had to go through a very rigorous editing process, because I don't want to just slap something together and just
I know I'm doing that now. It's not you want to put out the best of the best.
You only got one time for a first impression.
Yes, I love it.
It took me about a year to write it, another year to put it out. I released the book in June, and I've been going all over the country promoting the book. I've already been to New York, Jersey, Philly, Detroit, LA, and a couple of other places, and the book has been well received, especially like in juvenile halls and areas where they have urban schools, because a lot of young folks, the message resonates with them. It's a redemption story. It's not a book of me bragging saying I made $1 million every 20 minutes.
It's how you got to be here from there.
The process.
And
the transformation and the paradigm shift. It's a redemption story. It's a book on transformation, how you can go from being, you know, a 15-year-old drug dealer. I've been caught with firearms on 4 separate occasions. Pled guilty to 15 years in federal prison, but you can turn that around.
Turn it around, guys. Tell me how do we follow you on Instagram and Facebook?
The Instagram page is Malik, Malik, Wade, WADE _SIG, and then you can get the book on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and just pull up my name, Malik Wade.
And it comes up, Pressure.
And then I guess Facebook is just my name, Malik Wade, MALIKWADE.
Guys, please go follow him. I'm going to, every time he comes to Atlanta, I'm going to try to get him another group of young people to talk to. One thing I learned that was powerful, we had something this week. Young people will do what's natural until they're taught what's acceptable. So we have to go through and grab our young people, because if they don't have any options, they're going to make their own. So we have to go in and help nurture them into some better options. So I appreciate what you're doing. I'm super, 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 super proud of you. I'm so excited that you took some time to come out and unleash with me today. Guys, please follow him. Please, guys, DM me, my third caller of the show. I'm going to purchase a copy of this book and have it shipped to you. So please DM or call us, and our producer will make sure that we get that out to you. Again, please go follow Mr. Malik Wade.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you. See, it was painless.
Yeah,
guys, join us. We'll be right back with Miss Tiffany Nicole. Hey, Shakita, I got to get him down to the school, girl, next time he here. Hey, Seven. Jay, I'm proud.